Good morning, everybody. I just want to welcome everybody to our first general membership meeting for the 24-25 school year. For those of you who don't know me, anybody new to the high school, I am Bill Egan. I'm the proud principal here at New Canaan High School. I truly believe, not just because we are ranked #1 in our niche rankings in the state of Connecticut, but we are the best high school in the state of Connecticut and the country. There are so many wonderful things about this school, but honestly, I believe it all starts with you, the parents. You really set the tone with your kids. They are awesome. They're amazingly talented. But more than that, they are kind, and that's really a reflection on the entire school and the parents and the community. You know, without the PFA and everything that they do, the culture here wouldn't be what it is. So I just want to give a special thank you to all of you before we start. And as is our tradition, we have our superintendent usually give our opening remarks for the school year. He doesn't want me to share this, but he's extremely tired, and I'm always a little concerned because I find Brian to be so eloquent and really just such a talented speaker. But being out till 2 o'clock in the morning for negotiations, he's going to be very tired, and my hope is that I come across maybe a little bit more enthusiastic than he does. So it's one of the best things I get to do is work with somebody who is driven, talented, and makes the school system great. But also, I've worked with him for about 20 years now. He happens to be a friend at this point. So without further ado, Dr. Brian Lutzy. So, Brian, take it.
Thank you. That was a fascinating introduction, probably. But it wasn't wrong. And most importantly, you know, Bill is very, very quick to give credit for all of the many great things here at the high school to parents, to teachers, to kids, and everybody else. But I think that to have the best high school in the state and beyond, you have to have the best principal in the state and beyond. And I think we're very, very fortunate to have Bill as our principal here. Not just because of what he continues to learn and grow and do here, but because he had such good training as assistant principal back when when we worked together in Brookfield when I was principal and Bill was my assistant principal there. He's right. We've been working together for a very long time, and as many of us have actually across the district, which I think is a part of what makes New Canaan public schools in general, on the whole, and certainly the high school, could certainly contribute to the special place that it is. I am very, very proud to be the superintendent here. I'm very humbled by it because I also know, having been a principal in another district and different experiences, although I'm now in my 14th year in New Canaan, 11th as the superintendent, in most places you go to a high school PFA or PT or parent group, whatever you want to call it, and you might have the same 7, 8 people that are involved. That's fine and good in different places. That's not what we do here. And there's a story I like to tell about my very first PFA meeting when I was the high school principal 14 years ago. I was sitting in my office and I was just doing whatever. We had lots going on beginning of school, and the current PFA president ran into my office on a Wednesday morning at 9:25 and said, "Hey, there's some parents here. Can you come talk to them?" And I said, "Great, I'd love to." So I ran into the Wagner room and found a large group of parents sitting there waiting, and I was the entire agenda, and I had no idea that was going to happen. And I feel a bit like that right now, because, as Bill said, having been in teacher negotiations till 2 o'clock last night, or morning, or whatever it was, it is a little more challenging to find the words I want to say. So what I'm going to say is this. God bless you. I hope that your children are off to a great start. They're in a place where the adults here in this building are wholeheartedly committed to their success. I've seen it. I know it. The high school, I always consider that my home base, having been principal here for those 3 years before moving into the superintendency. I said this to the elementary group as well. The time goes so amazingly fast. And I was reflecting on my drive over this morning to keep my eyes open on my own experiences. My youngest daughter's turning 21 tomorrow. Which is another whole round of emotions and experience and thoughts and considerations. But it does go so very fast. And the foundation that your children are getting here in the high school is second to none in preparation for what's to come. There's the academic preparation that we know, and we are committed and continue to be committed to the very highest academic standards. And then there's also the the emotional work, the connections that they make, the relationship that they develop with each other, with the staff, around the work, and the resilience and the confidence that they build in themselves by having the opportunities that they're given throughout their 4 years. And that's a credit to all of you, because we can create the opportunities, but our kids need to step into them and take them. And they do in New Canaan High School, where we have over 70% of our students involved in athletics. We have another 25 plus, well, not plus, well, because there's overlap, involved with clubs and activities and our visual performing arts and others. We get into 90% of our students that are involved in something outside of the school day, which is a testament to the experiences that we're creating for them and their drive and motivation to take advantage of those. That's going to serve them incredibly well in the future when they go to a place that, again, can be overwhelming for kids when they go away to school or whatever they may be doing. And they're learning to engage in their environment and to be a part of that culture in that school. That is going to, again, serve them very well in the years ahead. I'm so very proud of what we do. Bill mentioned the niche rankings, and I think that there's a lot there. One of the things I'm quite proud of about those rankings as a district is we are at the top in the state and in the top 50 nationwide in a pool of over 11,000 school districts in both the best places to teach and the districts with the best teachers. And what that tells me is we are creating the conditions for our teachers to excel in our schools, and they're taking advantage of it. And they are excelling, and they're doing that work on behalf of your kids. So none of it's possible without all of you. One other quick little story. I just, the other day, was talking about the great work of the PTCs and what the PFA does in the high school. And somebody who was involved in the building committee here in the high school, which we still call our new school, although it was 2006, so almost 20 years ago, but on the building committee, remarked at how the exterior of the building has been transformed over the last 10 years since the PFA has really made that one of its missions. And if you look outside, you look at the island in the front, you look at the entryways, you look at the murals, you look at what's going on, the signage, the sign in the front, I'm not supposed to call it a wall, the sign in the front, the other pieces, all of those things, they may seem small, but what they do is create that welcoming environment for our kids and for our families, for our staff, and for everyone that's a part of it. And if you feel valued in your environment, then you're going to place a higher value yourself on that same environment. So I think it's such a positive, virtuous cycle that the PFA's contribution to the school, which then gets to our students, our faculty, and our culture, I can't thank you enough. So I hope that your children have a great start to the school year. It's great to see all of you this morning. I'm going to go take a nap, and hope to see you very soon. So thank you. I think I was pretty eloquent.
I don't know if you heard that, but he just said he thinks he was pretty eloquent, and honestly, it actually annoys me a little bit because, again, I always try and win in everything I do, and he was out till 2:30 and still probably sounded better than I do. So, at this point, you know, it's truly an honor to work with the parent, all the parents, but we have outstanding bells. We have outstanding parents who help run our school, and without further ado, I'd like to introduce our PFA co-presidents, Ann Wagner and Kristen Jimsky, to come on up and kind of share a little bit about our plans and what we've done in the past, what we're hoping to do, and I can't thank them enough because truly, without the PFA, we wouldn't be able to do the things that Brian was outlining, and honestly, they really do set up the culture for the building, you know, without everything that's really done. When you guys walked in, you probably saw the tables and stuff. We've tried to make this more like, I don't want to say Starbucks or something like that, but truly the kids eat lunch in the hallways. They hang in the hallways in between periods. We want this place to feel like home for them when they're not at home. We want them to really love being here. And honestly, without the PFA, none of that would be possible, including, you know, our lunchtime when you see 100+ kids sitting outside in the sun, you know, just relaxing and eating lunch. They have a chance to have some downtime. They work really, really hard in this building. You know, they challenge themselves to be the best they can be. So when they're not in that, we want them to, not in that mode. We want them to feel they have an opportunity to kind of unwind and be themselves. So Without the PFA, we wouldn't be able to do that. So without further ado, Ann and Kristen, thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming today. It's so nice to see so many of you here today. As Bill said, I'm Ann Wagner, one of the co-presidents of the Parent Faculty Association, along with Kristen Jimsky. I have a freshman here at the high school, but I also have two older daughters who progressed through the New Canaan public school system. The oldest is a junior in college, and the middle just started her freshman year in college. And I've been thinking about how to open my remarks, and I was thinking back to when my oldest first started high school, and I think I was just as nervous as she was, which I don't know if anyone else can admit to that, but there was so much unknown about the high school, and you want them to be successful and find their way. So if anyone can relate to that and is feeling overwhelmed, I assure you that those feelings do subside. Your child will acclimate, and so will you. We're here to talk about ways that will help with that, because like we encourage your student to become involved, we also encourage you to as well, because the more that you're involved, you're going to feel connected, you're going to make some new friends, as will your child, and it will make your whole experience here that much better. So now, I also want to talk about what makes up the PFA. Kristen and I are here today as fellow parents to discuss the Parent Faculty Association, otherwise known as the PFA. And I'm also going to take a chance to introduce you to our board. Again, for those of you who do not know or just need a reminder, the PFA is a group of dedicated volunteers that works arm in arm with the administration, the teachers, and the staff to make the experience here for our families and our students as enriching as possible. Through our fundraising efforts, which Kristen will talk about in just a moment, we're able to host a variety of events, activities, and programs that enrich, again, the learning and social experience here at the high school, and again, not just for the students, but also for the parents. With that brief overview, I would like to introduce this year's PFA Executive Board. So when I say your name, don't worry, you don't have to stand up, but I just want you to give a wave so people can identify you. Again, I'm Ann, I'm the co-president along with Kristen. I'm in my second year, it's a 2-year term, and Kristen's serving for her first. I'll start off with introducing our Vice President of Communications, Julie Deasy. Julie manages our website and all of our e-blast communications, which I'm sure if you've seen or been keeping track with your email, there's plenty. So we're grateful for Julie for keeping us well informed. Then we have our Vice President of Education, Allie Dunlap. Allie works closely with our counseling department in offering information sessions catered to each class, which is a really valuable resource. So I encourage you to look at our PFA calendar, because it lists out all of the parent education programs that we offer, and they are catered for every grade, because as you can imagine, every grade has different needs. Next, I'd like to introduce Heather Bollinger, who runs our gifts and grants. Heather works closely with the committee and reviews grant requests from our teachers and staff. And we receive many grant requests so that we can help ensure that our classrooms are the most enriching and educational as possible for our students. Next, Jane Benton, who is VP of our hospitality. Jane, hello. We have Jane to thank for our beautiful food and bev today, but behind that is a lot of orchestration. She's also managing the open house. We'll have some light bites in the rotunda on Thursday night. She also oversees our appreciation events and all the other events that require some sort of hospitality element. Next, our treasurer, Ann Shimmick. Ann is the one who is keeping us on track and keeps us on budget, which we all need. We can all use a treasurer in our life, and oversees our incoming donations and funds as well as our outgoing expenses. No, we're good. We're good. Our assistant treasurer is Laura Vellante, who works hand in hand with Ann. I don't know if I saw Laura yet. Okay. And then last but not least, our secretary, Tia Winnery, who's dutifully keeping records of our meeting today. So she makes sure that we have some sort of historical collection of each meeting so that we can refer to it and just have it for ongoing reference. Excuse me. So we also have a number of committee chairs and members who...
Excuse the interruption. I would like to announce the Class of 2028 Student Coalition winners.
Oh,
Class President, Eloise Tubb. Political Board President, Chandler Wagner. Social Board President, Sophia Kane. All winners must attend the Student Coalition meeting right after school today in room 204/205. If there are any freshmen that are interested in being delegates, please see one of your advisors, either Mrs. Fisk
none of my kids have ever done it.
or
Oh,
Mr.
thanks.
Rothschild.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Wow. Well, fun fact there. That was my daughter, and I will say, and this is not rigged, don't worry, but my older two never did student coalition, ever. And so my oldest daughter decided to not continue one of her sports, and she's like, I really want to get as involved as possible with the high school. I swear these are her words, not mine. And I was like, okay, go for it. And so on her own accord, she figured out how to run, and she just won. So anyway, I would encourage you to do the same. I really, it's true. I'd offer no support. I offer no support. I know, this looks terrible, but anyway, woo! Anyway, okay. Where was I here? Oh, so anyway, so we have an amazing group of volunteers that help us run all of our programs and events. So I just want to, I'm not going to read all of them to you because we want to move along with our program here. However, I do want to offer our sincere gratitude for their time and talents. We're so grateful. I would like to also point out that we need some library volunteers. Liz Orlip is here today and looking for anyone that might want to get involved with the library. I have personally done that, and it's wonderful. You know, if you really enjoy, Liz, do you want to say a few things about it or what it entails?
Volunteer for me, it's the best program ever.
Okay, well, there you go.
No, it is. It's year round. It's 90 minutes. It's fun. There's a whole bunch of library volunteers already in here, so you can chat with us about it. Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, so continuing on here. All right, so right here, you'll see a slide that gives some examples of our events and programs we offer throughout the year. Again, I encourage you to go to our website because it gives them in better detail. And there's also a Gmail account that Kristen and I check on with regularity. It's nchspfa@gmail.com. In case you're looking at the website and can't make sense of it, feel free to reach out to us as well, and we can just help you find an area that might be of best interest. Kristen's going to go into a little bit more detail here. The other way to get information is to read our Ramagram. That comes out the first Sunday of every month, and then the following Sundays is called a weekly Ram, excuse me. And both of them highlight all of the upcoming events and programs. So they come on Sunday evenings. I encourage you to read it. If Sunday evening's a busy time for you, just remember to read it at some point in the beginning of the week so that you know what's going on. All right, so regarding how we run, we are an entirely member-supported organization. We do not receive financial support from the district or the Board of Ed. So that brings us to our annual fundraising appeal, which I think you've gotten a few emails about, and there should have been a postcard in your mailbox. So that kicked off on September 1st, and I will let Kristen take it from here. But thank you so much, and welcome.
So in my rush to get out the door, somehow I have lots of other papers, but not the ones for this presentation. So I have my computer. Thank you all for being here. It's great to see so many faces, and it's a little bit of preaching to the choir. There's a lot of volunteers already in the room, but we really encourage you to get involved and to feel more connected with your child's educational experience as well as your community. I have two daughters as well. Lots of girls in the Wagner-Jimsky group. My oldest is also a junior in college, and then my younger daughter is a junior here at the high school. Yeah, getting involved has been just a terrific way for me to feel connected. One of the stories I love to tell is when my older daughter graduated, I was able right after graduation, walking out of Dunning Stadium, and I gave hugs to the superintendent, the chair of the Board of Ed, Officer Deek, you know, I was like, what other town do you have these connections to all of these amazing people that I wouldn't have known otherwise? And it's just such a privilege and an honor to be a part of it all. So we are so grateful that you're here and making a difference, so thank you. So, as Anne said, the PFA is really the conduit between the teachers and the families and then our schools, and we really are here to make a difference. We do not receive any Board of Ed or district funding. We are completely parent supported, and we are so blessed that our parents really lean in and support our schools. We do one annual appeal. We don't do a gala. We don't give away tchotchke stuff. All of the money that is raised goes directly back to our parents, back to our students and faculty, and to the building. You know, everything goes directly to this place, which is so very special. Let's see. So on the chart, our largest. Well, I'll loop around once we. So as you can see, the biggest bucket are the social activities clubs and our school culture. So we support things like Poetry Fest, the Physics Bowl, Model UN, Student Coalition, Robotics Club, Debate Team, so many more, and then also all of the faculty and staff appreciation events. And when the staff feel supported, they want to support our kids even more. And so I feel like that's a really important piece to the puzzle. Our faculty grants is the next biggest budget in orange. It allows us to fund college essay workshops, the completion of a drum line for the marching band, new sinks for the ceramic studio, VR headsets, books for the Spanish club, Chinese games, outdoor tents for the broadcasting team, acoustic panels for filmmaking. They spruced up the podcast center. The list, it goes on, and it really makes our students' experience here so much more robust. In terms of academic and educational programs, we provide Safe Driving Week. A lot of schools, we've heard from some of the people that we use, only do like a safe driving day. We have a whole week. We have career night. We have grade level events such as midterm prep for freshmen, understanding GPA and Naviance for sophomores, college planning for juniors, and financial aid night for seniors. The campus beautification, as Brian mentioned, is another way that we had another focus of ours for the past few years. And the main focus that last year was the new stone entry sign. It is beautiful and very professional looking, and we will continue to add a little bit more of landscaping around to increase the curb appeal even more this year. And so, as Anne mentioned, we've been sending our emails. Hopefully the postcard you received in the mail, and which looks like this, so you can keep your eye out. For our 24-25 year, the fundraising goal is $75,000. We are welcome to exceed that, certainly. But that is what we are hoping to raise in order to make all of our work possible. And we really, I've said this before as well, $5, $5,000, anywhere in between, we are appreciative for all participation, and every dollar makes a difference. So before we move on, we have two more pieces of official business. The first is to approve our meeting minutes from the April 24th general meeting, and then we will be approving our 2024-2025 budget. Both have been posted on the website, and I know some people in the room have diligently read them all. So I would like to make a motion to approve the April 24th general meeting minutes. Thank you, Sarah. And may I have a second? Great, thank you. Juliana, okay, Juliana. All those in favor? Great, okay, the motion is approved. Thank you so much. And now I would like to introduce Anne Shimmick, our treasurer, who will be presenting the budget.
Hi, everyone. I am excited I'm Ann Shimmick. I'm the treasurer. I do have boys. They are twin boys in 8th grade. And then my daughter is the one who's in the high school, and she's a junior this year. So anyway, just echoing what they all said, when she was a freshman here, I really wasn't involved. And it was the first time I just felt like really disconnected from the school. And I feel like getting involved either on the board or committee or anything has just been such a great way to, just even like know your way around the building a little bit more. So I would really encourage people. I think one of the things, I was heavily involved in elementary and SAC. Those were time-consuming positions. I think there's a lot you can find at the high school that you can do on your own time or just is a lower time commitment but still allows you to be involved. So anyway, so moving on to the budget, just to echo everything that Kristen said, we are really excited to be able to fund, an array of programs this year, and then also, have some room for special projects like the beautification of the new entrance sign. So anyway, our first step, though, before we can do all of that is to approve the budget. We do have copies over there, and they're also posted on the website if anyone, wants to take one with them or, read it in more detail. But anyway, for now, we will go ahead and approve the budget. So I will make a motion to approve the 24-25 budget for the PFA. Can I get someone to approve? Heather, and a second. Allie, and all those in favor? Thank you. This is why I'm not the secretary. All right, and now I'm going to hand it back over to Bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, once again, our parents are truly our partners here. It's not like that at every high school. I do know that, and I'm thankful for all the work that our parents put in. It's a full-time job to be able to run this organization. So thank you, Ann and Kristen, because without you guys, I know none of this would be possible. So thank you. And I will say this, once you're in the PFA, you kind of never leave. So Sarah's already locked in. She was our former PFA president, and she's locked into many different activities around the building. So everybody should get involved because it's a fun place and people really never want to go. So I guess if I could ask you to think back a little bit, I'm afraid to go to the next slide yet because I think it may just play. So if you think back to high school a little bit, think about some teacher or someone that was really instrumental in your lives. Truthfully, while they're here, the kids are going to be challenged to be their best, whether it be in academics, athletically, or in the arts. But think about really who had a big impact on you. A lot of times we kind of remember those people and had nothing to do with what happened in class. The truth is it was the relationships, the people, what they did for us to try and maybe help us get through a tough spot. So I guess think about that briefly, and this first thing is just really, first video talks a little bit about the impact of a teacher.
That's what you're gonna ask her too?
That's a hard question. A world without teachers.
What would the world be like without teachers?
Chaos.
Sad, because I won't learn anything.
The younger generation wouldn't have anyone to look up to learn from.
Walk around ignorant.
I mean, we could keep the teachers, but just no homework. That'd be pretty cool.
Everybody would be going cuckoo and we wouldn't do anything.
I think that is the scariest thought that anyone could ever have.
I think it would be craziness just because I feel like teachers are, besides our parents, the first people we meet who shape who we become.
I haven't always been the best student throughout my whole life.
I was always in trouble.
I had suffered 3 Fs and I realized oh, whoa, I need to fix that,
4th grade was over. I'm here 5th grade, we graduate, 6th grade. Hey, Miss Gonzalez, how you doing? And then she's like, oh yeah, I heard these are your grades. What's going on in that science class? She was totally just keeping up. And I just felt whoa, something's different about that.
Gave me the time of day, mostly. It was very, he was very engaged in stuff that I was doing. Even though I was in detention, I was still learning.
And she was the one teacher who really saw a lot in me to make me feel like I wasn't the kid that other teachers were saying.
And there was a point where I said, okay, I'm gonna fail my French class because I haven't been there, so I haven't done any homework. I'm just gonna drop out before I fail. And then she specifically came to me and said, no, I'm gonna work out a deal with you so that if you stay, you won't fail.
If we didn't do good at school, she would chew you out, but she would always give you a chance to make it up. She would never put you low standard and just leave you there. And that's one thing I like about teachers. They won't leave you behind.
And when I got accepted into colleges, the first thing I thought is I better go. And I better go and tell her I'm gonna be guess what? I got into Penn State, I got into a UC, I got into all these colleges.
Actually inspired me to pursue political science.
She's basically the one that taught me to just keep trying.
I can accomplish more than I probably think I can.
I felt it. She didn't have to do that, but it made the difference.
You see, I'm getting emotional because, like, she's great, you know? Give me a minute. I wouldn't be here without her, you know? And I'd like to thank her so much for that. Thanks, Mr. Victor, you know? Hope you see this, and I hope you know that you mean a lot to me, you know, you're really important. And yeah.
What was your teacher's name again?
Mr. Marable.
It's Mr. Elmore.
Shout out Mr. Betterton.
Miss Harris.
Her name was Casey Crocker.
She just exhibited like such a raw passion for teaching. Made me want to teach. Like, I want to do that for people. Like, that's a beautiful thing. So yeah.
That's what you're gonna ask her too?
Didn't want you to watch it twice. You know, the truth is, all of you are so important in the community, and there really is a partnership between parents. But the kids are amazing. But truly, without teachers, you know, we wouldn't be the same. So they do play an important role in your lives. The really, really good ones are amazing and leave an impact that will last a lifetime. So I just wanted you to kind of see that about the impact of teachers. I do want to welcome some new people to the building. Some are in different roles. Some are brand new. So just so you see them around the building, Danny Meltzer is our new Assistant Athletic Director. Well, our Assistant Director to ELL is back this year. She was out last year. We have a new Nursing Supervisor in the district, Teresa McIntosh. New Director of VPA, that's Laura Newell. We have a lead teacher at the downtown campus. Some of you will hear about the downtown campus. That's Mike Staffaroni. He was a teacher here at the high school. We have Tara Thomas, who is new to us here at the high school, not new to you. She was at Saks before, but she's now teaching up here at the high school. We have a new teacher from Illinois, Justine Replinger, for teaching math. She's excellent. A new school counselor, Lindsay Gottfried. A new science teacher to us. She was at over at Westport last year, Rebecca Bornapane. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. We have a new social worker at our downtown campus, also not new to the district, Kelly Plateau. A brand new special ed teacher here at the high school, Dan Prinz. We have a new world language teacher, Joshua Smarsley, who's teaching French and Spanish. We have a new APE teacher here at the high school, Alexa Kellner. Bless you. We have a math intern you'll hear a little bit about because we have a math center this year we're trying to do as a pilot program. So this intern's going to kind of run that the first semester. So if I don't talk about that, you guys can remind me at the end. That's Nicholas Frank, who's going to be manning that. And we have a new SPED TA, Adam Leone. You know, I talked a little bit before about this school is truly based on relationships. You know, we keep student well-being in the center of everything that we try and do here at the high school. As I said, the students are going to be challenged, you know. I don't think I'm going to get too much into data, but we take an amazing amount of AP courses where our kids really push themselves to be the best they can be, and they need to do all that to kind of excel and do the best they possibly can. But at the center of all of it is student well-being. And we've switched the schedule, we've modified how we approach things, we rotate the schedule, we allow students, and some of you are probably experiencing this if you're new to the high school, I have a freshman here, where they get sleep ins and leave early. You know, all of those things are purposely done to try and maintain and enhance student well-being. And truly when students and staff feel emotionally well, they thrive. So relationships are at the center of everything that we do here at the high school. You know, I have another brief video that I just want to share with you guys. Basically, it talks a little bit about some of the challenges that you guys face as parents as you enter the high school. You know, sometimes you hear about some things on social media and different things, and how do you address it? So this was on CBS News this morning. Some of you may have seen it. But it really talks about some of the challenges in talking to high school students, because it's not always that easy. So I'll play this. I may stop a couple times to interrupt it, but if I could do this. Sorry.
Raising kids, and it may not surprise you that the top concerns include mental health and experiences on social media, but It turns out that those are not the topics that parents are talking about most often with kids. There's a gap there. Gallup partnered with the Walton Family Foundation and psychologist Lisa D'Amour on this particular research, and Lisa joins us now. Lisa, thank you very much for being here. I always love it when you stop by.
I love coming.
Give me that list of the top concerns parents have for their kids.
So when we asked parents, they told us they worry about what's ahead for their kids' future. They worry about their experiences at school. They worry about their safety. They worry about their mental health, and they worry about their experiences online.
And are those the conversations they're having with their kids?
Well, this was really interesting in the findings. They worry about this, but they also find those to be extremely hard conversations to have with their kids. So parents are holding both of those things at once.
I think part of the fear, I mean, I don't have a teen, but I have this with my 2-year-old. I'm afraid of, like, if I approach something in the wrong way, potentially causing more damage. You know, when she's missing me, for example, what exactly to say to her. What is your advice for parents of teens in terms of how to approach them with these topics?
So you can have successful conversations about these things, but there's some things that really help. So one is wait for the kid to bring it up. Teenagers talk about these things in front of us, often about their friends. So if a teenager talks about a friend's mental health concern, a parent should take it seriously, be interested, and then say, if you had a concern like that, would you feel you could talk about it with me, right? So the door is open, you walk through it. I think another thing we can do is no sneak attacks. Teenagers do not do well with sneak attack conversations.
It's true.
Right? So
my favorite move.
Okay. Well, instead, consider saying, I'm thinking about the upcoming school year. I've got some ideas. Can you talk now? Can you talk in the next couple days? Right? Give them a little runway. And the other thing, do not be put off by eye rolling. Teenagers roll their eyes. It is sometimes how they establish their independence. So if you're saying to a kid on the way out to a party, like, no drinking, and the kid rolls their eyes.
Media, specifically, how do we approach that delicately in a way that can, social media, specifically, how do we approach that delicately? So when they say talking about mental health is helpful, they say,
Consider saying, I'm thinking about the upcoming school year. I've got some, can you do it? Be interested, concern. A parent should take it seriously, be interested, and then say, if you had a concern like that, would you feel you could talk about it with me, right? So the door is open, you walk through it. I think another thing we can do is no sneak attacks. Teenagers do not do well with sneak attack conversations.
It's true.
Right? So
my favorite move.
Okay. Well, instead, consider saying, I'm thinking about the upcoming school year. I've got some ideas. Can you talk now? Can you talk in the next couple days? Right? Give them a little runway. And the other thing, do not be put off by eye rolling. Teenagers roll their eyes. It is sometimes how they establish their independence. So if you're saying to a kid on the way out to a party, like, no drinking, and the kid rolls their eyes, take that as, I heard you.
Okay.
Oof.
They usually change their behavior.
You've got more experience than anyone here.
We grew up in a different era. Roll your eyes at your mom.
I will tell you, as a parent, I am guilty of that, because if somebody, I have a daughter as well. I also have a daughter. She's a sophomore in college, and I've never done well with the eye roll. I got to be honest with you. I have stopped and said, don't roll your eyes at me. So I am absolutely guilty of that. But
pop them things in the back of your head. So study also shows that 92% of kids, they say talking about mental health is helpful. They say the same thing about social media. 83% of the kids say that. So when it comes to social media, specifically, how do we approach that delicately in a way that can be receptive for them?
I think these are some of the hardest conversations to have with teenagers. And it's because they know adults don't understand social media and often don't like it. So I think as soon as the adult says the word social media, teenagers are thinking, how do I get out of this conversation with my phone as fast as possible, right? So it shuts down right before it starts. So to prevent that, consider saying something like, talk to me about social media. What do you like, right? Tell me what you like. And then tell me what you don't like. And then tell me, what have you tried to minimize the downsides of what you don't like? And how can I help?
That's a good way to approach it.
That can keep that conversation going.
Like being an ally in that conversation
and
rather
curious.
than... Yeah.
Curious.
So how often should these conversations, especially around social media happen?
You know, you have to follow a kid's lead. And I think if you do sneak attacks or are trying to bring it up all the time, your odds go down. Look for openings, listen to when they're bringing it up. If you're having a conversation, keep it short. Teenagers can't tolerate long conversations about charged topics. I think you've got 45 seconds to a minute sometimes. But here's the
45 minutes, PowerPoint.
Here's the good news. These are not one and done.
Okay.
These are conversations you're in and out of all through development. how kids think about it changes, what they're into changes. So you just want to be touching base over time.
I struggle with how to handle it when the kids are upset, particularly teenagers, because on the one hand, I want to be like, shake it off, you're tougher than that, but on the other hand, I don't want to, paper over what are real problems. How do you strike a balance between those two?
So in the same survey, we asked teenagers, what do you want from adults when you're upset? And here's what they told us. They want us to listen to them. They want us to take them very seriously. Very low on the list, give advice. That was not top of mind. And I think that's where we start, from a loving place. We want to help things get better. We want to take them seriously. They want to be heard.
So what are some of the coping techniques that teens use instead of going to their parents? Like what, because we're always curious, like what's going on behind that closed door when they're not with us?
So we asked that as well. We asked teenagers, what helps you feel better when you're upset? And top of the list was listening to music. And I love this, and I see this in the teenagers I care for. They all have playlists. Many of their playlists have feelings names on them. When they're sad, they will listen to their sad and peaceful playlist. They're angry, they'll listen to their grr playlist.
That's spot on.
I've had it. It's spot on. And it's brilliant. It is adaptive, it is cathartic, it helps them feel better. And I think so often adults blow right past it and think, oh man, they're on their phones.
Them.
Exactly.
Listen to music together.
I like it.
Mr. DeMore, thank you so much.
This morning, new research we want to tell you about, revealing what parents worry about the most.
Good. I think the most important thing is truly having conversations with your kids. And you're all excellent parents. The more you talk to them, the more you get in spaces, the more you're in a car with them. They open up when you're not really thinking about when they're going to open up to you. Be open to those conversations. The only thing I would say is try not to be judgmental. And I've made every mistake as a parent. I've yelled, I've screamed, I've done everything that she said probably not to do. But I do think the biggest thing is to be open and be ready for conversations when they come. But teenagers are a fickle beast. School climate. We have an amazing school climate here. Our data was done through our NEASC survey, so a little different than the rest of the school district did last year. And briefly, I'll just kind of touch on these. It's really excellent across all domains. The faculty, what their responses were, the families were, and the students as well. One of these right here, it says all adults seem to take responsibility for getting to know all students, not just the ones they teach. So outside their classroom, I think that's an outstanding number of 63%, but we did choose to focus on that as a school climate goal. Again, our answers here, our results here are pretty good, a little different from faculty to students, but adults notice when someone needs help, 70% is still pretty high. Adults do something when someone needs help, almost 80%. Our students know who to go to if they need social and emotional help, 83%. I use social and emotional supports. This is one that certainly we want to make sure kids know their resources here. We talked about the first, what we call building block. You're going to hear that throughout the year, and we certainly want to encourage kids, if they need resources in this building, to use them. Sometimes there's still some stigma around that for kids, and I think that's hard. Let's see here. That was it. Good. So with that being said, we are going to try and work to demonstrate how we build relationships with kids, not just in our classroom, but outside the classroom as well. And we kind of went through an exercise with the faculty about different ways they can do that throughout the year and had them brainstorm that. I mentioned building block. We talked about resources. The building block is basically, it rotates between our academic time, broadcast, community, and counseling. So a couple years ago, we realized our counselors didn't have access to our kids on the regular. So we had a connections program that wasn't necessarily that successful. Kids weren't necessarily going all the time. So we shifted it to this, where it's linked to a class. It rotates, since our schedule rotates. And there are different activities each time. So sometimes there might be academic time. And what we allow for academic time is you can go to one teacher. It's about 25 minutes long. You can go to one teacher for extra help if you need it. You can't go anywhere else. Once you go there, you stay there. But it's an opportunity that they can see someone during the course of the day, because these kids are so busy after school, to get extra help or do different things. We wanted to give them that opportunity. So there is time during the day to do that. We have our broadcast, which was actually on today. When you guys walked in the building, you might have seen it on the TVs as you walked in. That was today. There's a community time where we have some group activities, like we'll have a NCHS picture we're going to do one day. That's going to be an activity that we do. And counseling sessions by grade level. Each grade level will get at least 2 counseling sessions with their counselor that they'll work with throughout the year. A couple things. AI is something that you've heard about in the news. It's certainly something that you're going to hear about at the high school as well. We certainly want students to have authentic work that's their own. But what you should see is it should be a productivity tool. The truth is, in any business, if you hear these things, is AI going to replace people? No, but AI, people that don't use AI might be replaced because others will and will be better because of it. So you should see staffs using it as a productivity tool. Right now, there is data privacy. So there are only certain things that are approved. So you shouldn't use ChatGPT. You shouldn't use things like that as a student, because the truth is they're not technically old enough as students here to use those functions for classroom work. So we ask the students to have their own, use their own work in anything that they do, and only use approved tools by the district. Now, there will be some coming up, so this is where I kind of bring this up a little bit. There will be some, what they call frontier level AI products that might be used in schools at some point. Google's coming out with Gemini. That may become a data privacy approved tool that schools can use. Now, the district has to work through all of that, but I certainly wanted you to know that this is a changing landscape, and you'll see more of it if you have students. Any student that has students in college, certainly students are utilizing AI in different ways, and schools are not immune to that. So you may hear of some things in the classrooms as well. This little thing underneath is just a academic dishonesty policy that was a sample that a teacher created. So if you see it on syllabuses or anything like that, that's where this came from. We have some guiding principles here. We want to engage students in meaningful and relevant work. We want to connect students to their school, their peers, and their teachers. We want to keep students and staff healthy in all domains of their lives. And we want to partner with you, family and community members, to support success for all students. Now, you've probably heard Dr. Lutz talk about phone-free schools. A little different here, for different reasons, and I'll talk about that in a second. But we are a distracted world. So this is a brief video, but certainly I think we can all kind of relate to this, me included. There's one office scene that is absolutely me.
It is maddening for everyone else. It is an epidemic, texting while walking.
Now, the idea is that we all live in a distracted world. Our kids are not immune to that as well. The truth is, phones are a distraction for a classroom. We don't really want them there unless a teacher feels the need instructionally to use them. And there are a few examples, whether it be like TV broadcasting, journalism. We have a couple college-level courses, film, where they have to leave the classroom and use their phones to do things. And there's some other things that the teacher may use it in the classroom. So what we've done, I have the link here, and I've shared it with everybody in my welcome back letter about what our policy is. And the policy is they come in the classroom, they take their phones, smartwatches, earbuds, put them in our cell phone caddies. They leave them there for the class period. If they go to the nurse, the bathroom, they leave them there. They come back and get it later. But the idea being that the classroom is a distracted-free environment. Now, if a teacher says, hey, can you do me a favor, get your phones. I need you to do X activity. They go over, it's 2 feet away from them. They get the phones. They come back. They use the phones. When they're finished with the activity, they put them back in the caddies. You know, we've had a similar policy for a couple of years where the phones were supposed to go in the caddies. But, you know, sometimes people got a little lax with that. So we've asked teachers to make sure they adhere to that. So phones should be away in the classroom. We have not limited their downtime. So meaning that when they have a free period, if they want to be on their phone, we still are allowing that to be their choice. There's certainly some debate about that. This is a national conversation. Local, different communities are taking different approaches to this, and I certainly understand that. But I think this is a reasonable kind of midway step till we kind of figure out where everybody is on that. So I just wanted to share that with you. How many freshmen in here? Raise your hand for a freshman. That's what I figured a lot. So you should have study halls. Now, interesting, this place is an awesome place with a lot of freedom. So we have a rotating schedule. If you have the beginning of the day free, or you have the end of the day free, you can call in and you can get a sleep in or a leave early. But that's up to you to kind of manage that. The middle of the day, we expect students in class. We're trying to model for them how to be good academic students in the freshman year. After that, they have off-campus procedures. There are no study halls for them. We do have an ACES program for students that might need that. But realistically, that's really for the freshmen. We're trying to model what being a good student is. But they also get some well-being perks, right? So if the family wants to keep them home for a sleep-in, awesome. If you want to leave early, awesome. Safety drills, Mrs. Carrero kind of manages that, but we have safety drills once a month here at the high school. And so it's just something to expect. We'll always announce it to the kids, and afterwards you should get an email from me about what the drill was. We had one, I think it was last week, where we had a fire drill, and I sent something home afterwards. You should have received a welcome letter, I hope you did, from your teachers in classes. If not, ask your kids, they should have received it as well. Before classes started, telling a little bit about themselves, asking, hey, is there anything I need to know about your child? We want to make sure that we are partners and our teachers are partners with this. If you didn't receive that, you could certainly talk to me at some point. I just want to make sure that our teachers are doing that because I think it's an important message we want to get out. We want to welcome our kids in the classroom and we want to welcome you as parents. A couple important dates tomorrow night. Hopefully everybody's here for open house. We also have an in-school PSAT. That is, we're doing PSATs for sophomores and juniors on October 11th. It's a full day of school. If you are a senior, you have the luxury that day of being able to work on your college essays. You can come on in. People will be here to help you. If you want interviews, we can work on that here as well. If you want to go on a college visit, you can do that as well. It happens to link up with Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day. So it's a 4-day weekend for seniors to be able to go and explore and do all things college. For the sophomores and juniors, we're taking PSATs. If you have a freshman, there'll be an activity for you as well. It is a day of school, and we expect everybody here. So thank you. A couple things. I'll end with this. I know it's been a rather long meeting, but I just want to say we want you all to have a fantastic school year. You know, truly, all of us, it's a partnership, and we make a difference in the lives of our students. And I hope the year is filled with exciting opportunities, meaningful connections, and countless moments of joy for your kids in and out of the classroom. I truly say it all the time, this is a special place, and I feel honored to be the principal here. I feel really lucky to be a part of this community, and hopefully that comes across in everything I do and say. But I'm always here. Reach out to me if you need me. And I didn't mention, I don't think, this is Mrs. Carrero. She is our, what grade are you this year, 11? 11th grade administrator. Mr. Sullivan is at other meetings, but he is doing grade 10. And Mr. Rothman, who couldn't be in today, he is our 9th grade and 12th grade administrator. So if you have questions for those grades, those are the administrators you contact, and you can always contact me, and I'll help you get you the resource you need to. So, but thank you very much, and I really hope you all have an amazing year. So, thanks again. Any questions, I'll be here to answer them. You can come up and ask me.